Why scaling efficiency should be your number one goal. Don't worry about scaling spend. That's an output of everything you need to. Why most advertisers are actually failing at the platform and what they're doing to actually get in their own way by not prioritizing the things that will actually make them successful. Hi, I'm Charlie. I'm here to help you begin to win at Facebook. Let's go. So, scaling efficiency. What does that really mean? That means let's get more bang for your buck. Let's let your dollars bring you more results. A lot of people make the mistake of saying that what they need to do to scale their ad account is spend more money, raise their budget. Now, yes, theoretically, more budget equals more results. But we all know that's not true. We all know that sometimes you push the budget, sometimes you 2 or 3x your budget and you actually get less results. Why is that? Well, we know why. It's been written out in plain language. It's your bid. What Facebook decides to charge you is dependent on your budget and your estimated action rate. How much you're willing to spend and how likely are people to respond positively to your ad. Now, those are very important things to keep in mind. So, when you start to ramp up your budget aggressively or you start to spend in a lot of places, what are you really doing? First off, if you're spending in a whole lot of places, you're investing a lot of time and energy in keeping Facebook as dumb as possible to try to hack the platform instead of actually making a decent ad. The other side of problems is if you're starting to ramp up your budget really aggressively, well, what are you doing? Well, you're ramping up your bid really aggressively. And what happens when you ramp up your bid really aggressively is, oh, shocker, you're paying more. My point is, this has been a complaint of a lot of people that try to solve this problem over and over and over again for years and weeks and months. And it is how I can't describe how many times I hear people say, yeah, everything was working great until I tried to spend more money. Facebook doesn't work. Well, no, the problem isn't that Facebook doesn't work. It's that you are not even letting Facebook succeed. Let me get to what I'm really talking about here. It's about scaling your efficiency. Let's get to the bottom of that really means. Scaling your efficiency means getting more efficient. Deliver more results for the same investment. Now, say your budget is 100 a day, 50 a day, 1,000 a day. Let's say your budget brings you 10 results. Now, if you increase your budget by 10%, do you get 10% more results? Odds are the answer is no. And then you get frustrated. Now, what if I told you that instead of spending more money to hopefully maintain the same cost, which we already know probably isn't going to happen, which ultimately means the more money you spend, the less profit you make on every dollar, and then eventually you hit a law of diminishing returns where it's no longer profitable for you to even try. What if instead you prioritized lowering your cost per result by 10%? If you could get 11 sales for that same investment instead of 10, well, not only are you getting a higher volume of sales, not only are you actually making more profit, but you're also training the platform to understand what a good customer looks like more efficiently. So the data set of what Facebook is using to find new customers is built off of a higher quality user base. So when you scale efficiency, the net result is a compound effect of more scaled efficiency. So let's talk about another complete BS thing that people say, warming the pixel. Here's a link. When people talk about warming the pixel, they're talking about getting things right. What they really mean by that, what they're trying to get to, even though they probably don't realize it, but the net effect of a result that hopefully they're trying to understand or at least fail their way into, is that Facebook looks at your results to try to deliver consistent results. Remember, Facebook's primary objective is twofold. Number one, to develop inventory, which means get people's eyeballs. The average person scrolls the height of the Eiffel Tower on a daily basis. Your job is to stop them. Facebook's other business objective is to sell that inventory, meaning sell ads. Charge people for the right to have access to that inventory. Now, many people have the misconception that Facebook's going to take their money and they don't care at all around their advertisers, which is 100% BS. If Facebook didn't give a damn about their advertisers and they just took your money and didn't deliver a positive business result, well, they wouldn't be the dominant advertising platform in the world. They wouldn't be in business. You wouldn't have tried to do it based on the success Everybody else is having. So let's get down to some actionable things. When you develop a data set of users that have taken a desired action, let's say it's purchases. If your average purchase is $50 based on the last 20, 50, 1,000 purchases, well, Facebook's likely to try to deliver you a $50 purchase because you've told it that's your business objective. And if it does that, then you're more than likely to spend more money, or at least spend what you're currently spending. So now they have a very good idea of how to get money from you while delivering a net result that you're happy with, but protecting their primary focus, which is keeping eyeballs on the platform. Now, what happens if you try to get those eyeballs for cheaper? And what I mean by that is, what happens if you get a better ad with a higher estimated action rate? Remember, every ad is actually a web page. Facebook is a web page scrolling device. What they do is they show you a bunch of web pages that you can interact with. Every single ad is actually a web page. It has its own URL. Facebook does, in fact, measure the click-through rate and the bounce rate and the stickiness of every single web page. So if you want to get a better bid, a lower cost, you can have two options. One, lower your budget, or two, make an ad that people respond more positively to. Now, what does this really mean is, say you've got a $50 cost per, and that's your average price. Now, what happens if you start loading in 45s or 40s in there? Well, your average is going to go down. What does that also mean? It also means that Facebook is going to start delivering you cheaper people. Not that it's necessarily different people, it just understands what you're willing to pay, in the hopes that you actually start spending more and you reward that system with a higher budget. So the point here is, scaling your budget to try to get more results is absolutely flawed. It's an old practice built around search, so demand-based platforms or inventory-based platforms like programmatic, real-time bidding. Something works for you, spend more money, you'll get more results. Facebook doesn't work like that. Hint, hint, neither does TikTok or YouTube or Snapchat or Twitter or anything else that curates a feed, like LinkedIn. None of them work like that. Anybody that tells you that it does doesn't know what the hell they're talking about. Tag them in any comment section below and I will gladly let them know. My point is, if you can start to deliver more efficient results, then you're still going to be accomplishing your business objective. Unless your business objective is, who gives a damn about performance? I just need to spend as much money as possible. Maybe you're an illegitimate ad agency that doesn't give a damn about your customer and your number one focus is raising your budget. Or maybe you've hired an ad agency that is just trying to get more spend. My point is, what you really want isn't to spend more money. What you really want is to sell more things. Get more people to sign up. What you want is a volume of results movement, not a volume of spend movement. So my point here is, it is far easier to get a 10% improvement on your net result in a sustainable fashion than it is to maintain the same cost at 10% more. Not only is it far more likely and easier to do that, it also has a much bigger positive impact on your platform and what you're doing in general. If you start telling Facebook, hey, look, a $45 purchase is what I want and not a $50, it's going to bring you more $45 purchases. And then maybe you say, all right, great. Well, really what I want is a $40. And I hear you saying, well, what I want is a 1 cent purchase. Well, work on an ad. I doubt you're going to get there, but work on it. The point is, if you start to move the needle on your cost and your efficiency, you're going to start seeing the platform deliver you the results that you want. Because you've started to try to train the algorithm. You've begun to take into account something that you've already known forever. It's a machine learning platform. Now, what happens if something learns, but you don't bother to teach it? Well, it's going to be pretty dumb. So I challenge you. Why don't you focus your time and effort on making Facebook smarter, instead of throwing more money at a problem and complaining when Facebook does exactly what you're telling it to do? Don't be mad when the thing does exactly what you want. Be happy when you understand what you're actually asking the platform to do and you start to get a result that is better for your business. So, in summary, scale your efficiency. Ultimately, you might have the problem of you're not spending enough because you're far too efficient. Well, then you can spend up. And what happens when you spend up? You're going to be less efficient. But say your target cost is $48 and you're driving at $50. You start ramping up your budget. It goes $50, $60, $70 a cost per. You're in a real sticky wicket problem. But if you get it from 50 down to 45, maybe you get it down to 40. What happens when you increase your budget? Well, maybe you go to 46 or 47 or 42 or 43. You lose some efficiency, but at a much higher volume. And that's the last piece. Increased efficiency, increased estimated action rate has a far bigger impact on what you pay in the platform for your results than budget. So if you start caring about your ad and your customer, you're going to see a much better result than caring about the vanity metric of spend volume. If you have to spend more to get a result, you've already lost. Work on getting more for the dollars that you're actually spending, and you've already won. I'm here to help you to begin to win at Facebook. Once again, hi, I'm Charlie. There you go. I'll see you next time. Scale your efficiency, and everything else will come. Bye.